Welcome, everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patrick Nazareth. I have around 30 years of experience in teaching, and I would like to help dispel your doubts should you have any. Today, I will attempt to give you a comprehensive guide to note making. This is important because you will be using it throughout your academic career. So let's dive straight into it then. First, what is the major difference between note making and note taking? You see, note making is made during the class or when somebody speaks. You are recording information. In today's age, perhaps you're recording it on your phone. You may, of course, also be taking down these notes using pen and paper, but it is basically done in the real time. It includes everything that is said. It is much more detailed. And it's a linear format. What the speaker says, you write down. In that case, these sort of notes tend to be much more detailed than when you are going to make notes later on. What happens during note making? Note making is when you extract the information from a written text. So you do this at your own time, in your own way, with no pressure on you whatsoever. You have to be very selective. You pick out only the main points that are involved. It is an organized format, and I will show you how to do it using headings and numbers. What is the purpose of making notes then? It helps you to understand and remember important information. It is especially useful when you're studying or when you're working. It's easier to review material that you might have forgotten in the interim. It saves you a lot of time by focusing only on the key points that matter. It improves your concentration while you're reading. And it creates, and this is most important, a personal reference document. When do you use note making? When you're studying textbooks, when you're using reference books, when you're preparing for exams, when you're researching for essays or projects, when you're reading articles or reports for work, when you're summarizing meeting documents while doing work, you're organizing information from multiple sources and putting it in a way that is easy for you to understand. The most important thing, the goal of note making, it is not to create something perfect, but it is to create notes that will help you understand what has been said or what you need to remember much more effectively. There are certain steps involved in note making. Let's look at step 1. You have to read the passage carefully. You underline the key facts that are given. You look at the main ideas that are given, and you find the important details. The rest is simply decorative. What do you need to underline? Look for main ideas and topic sentences. Look for key facts, dates, names, and numbers. Look for definitions and technical terms. You look for causes and effects, and you look for arguments and conclusions. Now, all of these are, of course, not necessary to be found in one document. For example, a non-technical document will not have technical points. But this is what you must look for. What is not to underline is also very important. You do not underline examples. Examples are something to be understood. You don't need to underline them unless they're extremely crucial. You do not underline repetitive information. You do not underline descriptive phrases. You do not underline connecting words. How to do it? First, read the text and answer questions about it. What is the passage about? Where, when, how, why? Who is involved? What are the key facts or the numbers? You answer these questions as you continue reading. You pick out the main points, drop all linking words. Well, you take an example from the pheasant passage, okay? Pheasants are shy, charming birds known for their brilliant plumage. Look at the note. Pheasants, shy birds with bright plumage. What has been changed? You have removed the linking word. You have removed an extra descriptive word. You have removed unnecessary words, and you have changed a big complex word like brilliant to a simpler word, bright. Take a second example. There are 51 species of pheasants in the world. What have you written? 51 species of pheasants, or simply number of species, 51. You have removed the opening, not necessary, and you have removed in the world. I mean, what else could they be talking about, right? It is implied. It is not essential at all. You have to combine everything that is related. Take this from the coal passage. What is it about? Organisms died. These organisms and the tissues were recycled through decay. Some material was covered with mud. It prevented complete decomposition. When you combine them all, you simply write them using dashes. Dead organisms, tissue recycled through decay, mud covering prevented complete decomposition. End of story. If they belong to the same category or type, you combine them. For example, look at the pheasant passage. It gives you the types of game birds. What do you write during notes? Simply game birds, grouse, pheasants, partridges, turkeys, whatever is mentioned, instead of giving each one a separate line like it is done in the passage. You organize your points with a clear numbering system. What have you done? You have simply used the point system. And what is the disadvantages of those? There's no clear structure. We don't know which ideas are the main ideas. We don't know which ideas are simply details. Hard to see any specific information. And of course, it looks messy and confusing. Look at how we have organized it then. We have given each point a clear number. 1, 2, 3, 4. You look at 1, it describes the pheasants. You look at 2, it gives you the species information. You look at 3, it gives you the origin and spread, and so on, making everything clear and easily accessible to you when you go back to revise. So what should the notes be like? Brief, focused. You should only write the main points, and you should write it in phases, not complete sentences. Logically, you divide them into main sections, subsections, and sub-subsections. The old method used to be where we write in notes 1, 2, 3, and then in brackets the smaller 1, smaller 2, continuing on A, B, C. In textbooks nowadays, what do you find? Different sections, 1, 2, 3, 1.1, then again 1.1.1, and so on. There are special writing techniques. What do you use? Abbreviations. You use symbols. You remove prepositions. You remove conjunctions. You use colons, you use dashes, as is given. The notes must be very clear. You look at the notes, you know exactly what you have to study. If you notice, I have given you some common abbreviations and symbols that are used, and I've also given you useful symbols. Okay, use these while taking your notes. I suggest you pause the video and take a look at the screen to study them more carefully. Look at the different note-making formats. The one that you will use mainly is the linear or the outline format, which is a traditional method of making notes, okay, which is given in the examples that we have already done. Other than that, you look at the mind map format, where you make, say, a blurb, and then you use branches coming out of it, and then again sub-branches. Easiest example, what you do in charts, what you see in PowerPoint presentations. There is the cornel method, where the page is divided into 3 sections, each section looking for a certain point. I have done the same later on in another slide for your reference. So you have a Q column, you have a notes column, and you have a summary section. Each one deals with a different part, making it clear. You have the chart or the table format. You have seen this in biology, where everything is divided in columns or in rows. You also use it when you write advantages versus disadvantages, or you're putting dates opposite events in history. There is flowcharts. Flowchart formats are used where you mainly find them when you're studying computers, when you're doing PowerPoint presentations. It shows you each step in sequence. So you look at the 2 examples that I have given, example 1 and example 2, both from the passages, one from the pheasants passage, the other from the coal and petroleum passage, showing you how you make notes. What are the key tips I can offer you for better note making? Firstly, change verbs to nouns. You start each point with a noun. You combine all related information. Remember, you must practice regularly. You have to use your own words, very important. You can copy somebody's notes, fair enough. But that is not the way for you to understand, because you yourself are unique. You have your own system of organizations. Learn from somebody else's notes, but make your own. Be consistent. Use the same symbols, the same abbreviations everywhere. Leave space. Later on, the teacher might say, look, this particular part is very important. It will come in the examinations, or there is a good chance that this will come up. You put the notation there, or maybe there's some additional information you find. Put it over there. Use highlighting. We all have highlighters. Use them. Bring the important points straight to you. You look at your notes, if they are highlighted, you understand these are the main ideas. Add a title. Easily understood. You look at a title, you know exactly what it is about. Date your notes. When you go back, when you review them, when you need to add anything to them, you know exactly when it is done. So easy for you to find them. This is also important, all right? What are the mistakes that we make? You write too much. You simply copy it down. What is the point? Or you write too little. You go back to your notes, you don't understand anything because you have hardly written anything. So you are getting no idea of the text that you have to study. Organization is poor. Points are not written down properly. Therefore, you cannot understand what you have to study. There are no headings. You cannot find specific information when you're looking for it. You need to find which river flows in which state, for example. You look around, you don't know which one it is, so you're forced to read the whole note if the headings are not proper. You look at the abbreviations, they are not clear. You have not used them properly. You have included unnecessary details, like examples or descriptions, not necessary. You do not review the notes. That is very important. Notes become actually useless if you don't review them regularly. So now that I've scared you with all the mistakes that you have done, what are the benefits that you get from good note making? During revision, it saves your time. It helps you focus on important information. It makes your studying better. It improves your understanding of whatever you are studying. They are easy to review before exams, before presentations. It identifies knowledge gaps. It improves your memory. It creates portable study material. You can't take your textbooks, they're heavy, they're thick, but notes, definitely. It reduces the exam stress. The better notes you make, the better prepared you are, the happier you are while giving examinations. And it develops analytical skills. I have given you an idea here of how to make notes for different subjects. Each subject comes with its own challenges, and you can make notes for every subject, whether it is science, whether it is mathematics, history, anything. Take a look. Now, in today's world, people might prefer to take digital notes. What are the advantages of digital notes over paper notes? I have given that to you here. There are certain disadvantages as well. I have given you the advantages of both paper notes and the disadvantages. I have done the same for digital notes. Understand what are the disadvantages are if you're using paper notes and work your way around them. Do the same with digital notes. How do you review and use your notes? Here is an example of how you do it. You have to have a regular review schedule, always. You have to have an active review technique to go along with it. And then you concentrate on updating your notes. You can improve your note making. You don't have to say, oh gosh, I don't know how to make notes. You can get better and better. Anything gets better with practice. Remember that. So for notes, you start with simple passages. You move on to complex texts. You time yourself. See what is your speed. You compare your notes to that of your classmates. Is yours clearer? Is yours more concise? Is it more smaller? You practice different note making formats. You make notes when you're looking at videos, when you're listening to podcasts. You summarize your notes further. Can you make them smaller? Finally, you create notes from memory. You have read the text, create notes, and see what mistakes you have made. Here are some final tips for success then. Look at them, study them carefully, and you will be completely sorted, I promise you. That then was a guide to note making. I do hope it is of help and that you are able to use and apply it throughout your life. If you have found this guide to your liking, do remember to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, other people might be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.